President Donald Trump has a good point when it comes to trying to update the North American Free Trade Agreement to make sure everyone is getting a fair deal, but slapping tariffs on Canada and Mexico is not the way to do that, Sen. Joe Kennedy said Friday. Alienating our two biggest partners in Canada and Mexico is no way to go about doing it, the Massachusetts Democrat told MSNBC's Andrea Mitchell reports. This is another example of where this administration comes up with an awful lot of bluster and no plan at all about how to execute on it. On Thursday, imposed tariffs on steel and aluminum from Europe, Mexico, and Canada, drawing complaints for hitting the nation's closest allies. Kennedy said the decision will hit many states hard, including his home state of Massachusetts, including an important one, cranberries. We risk having a whole lot of other jobs and industries getting caught up in the crosshairs, said Kennedy. This is another example of where this administration comes up with an awful lot of bluster and no plan at all about how to execute on it. Apparently this deal fell apart like many other ones have by some sloppy statements by a high administration official. I hope they've got a clue of what's going on. I hope they are able to get back to the table. The United States needs Canada and Mexico as allies if it plans to address several other major concerns, he said, including in the national fight against opioid addiction. When the president talks about an opioid epidemic across the country, you have to recognize that over 90% of the heroin used on our streets comes from Mexico, said Kennedy. If you're serious about addressing an epidemic across America, you have to work closely with our Mexican authorities to make sure we're doing all that's necessary to make sure that crop doesn't exist and doesn't come across our borders, trying to create a trade war with Mexico at the same time as trying to work with them to crack down on heroin is nuts, he added. The real adversary in this is not, when it comes to trade, is not Canada and Mexico and Europe, it's China. I think the president's geography has been a bit off. Politics. President Donald Trump has a good point when it comes to trying to update the North American Free Trade Agreement to make sure everyone is getting a fair deal, but slapping tariffs on Canada and Mexico is not the way to do that, Sen. Joe Kennedy said Friday. Joe Kennedy, tariffs, NAFTA, Canada, Mexico 384 Friday 1 June 2018 2:30 p.m. 20183001 Friday 1 June 2018 2:30 p.m. Newsmax Inc.